In this video, you'll learn how to attach one or more points of a line or motion path to a tracker in DaVinci Resolve. You'll also learn how to fix common tracking issues. To save time, I'll assume you know how to create and use motion paths. If you don't, I have another video that covers it in detail. The link is in the description. Whether it's a motion path or line, the steps to connect its points to a tracker are exactly the same. There are two ways to do this. You can do the tracking first and then manually connect one or more points of a line or path to the tracking data, or you can connect the points directly to a tracker and then track. We'll go over the manual approach first. I'll create a yellow line using a polygon mask node connected to a background node. I'll set the background node color, then select the polygon node and lay down 2 points for a straight line. Click the Modify Only button in the toolbar to prevent adding more points. To reveal the line, adjust the border width parameter. We'll attach each end of the line to a different person in the shot. Step 1 is to track the people. To do that, we need to insert a tracker node. The footage to be tracked must be connected to the tracker node's yellow background input. The tracker could be placed after the merge node, but then the line would be visible to it and could interfere with tracking. If placed upstream of the merge node, the line will be invisible to the tracker since it doesn't yet exist from its perspective. Also, whatever's being tracked has to stand out from the background. If it blends in and isn't well defined, the tracker won't be able to follow it. Everybody has the point tracker, so we'll use that. I'll add one for the first person and name it Little Person by double-clicking its name in the list. I'll delete the IntelliTrack tracker since we won't be using it. Next, find a frame where the target is clearly defined to give the tracker a good starting point. For this clip, any frame will do. Position the pattern box over the object to track by click-dragging on the tiny box in the upper left of the inner box. Use the crosshairs for precise positioning. Once positioned, the inner box, which outlines the pattern to be tracked, can be resized. It should be large enough to contain what's being tracked, but not too large. The outer box, which defines the search area, that is, where the tracker looks for the pattern, can be resized as well. A smaller search area would work well in this case. It'll prevent the tracker from latching onto the woman at his side. I'll add a second point tracker and name it Big Person. I'll position it over one of the people in the foreground. I'll make the pattern box bigger so the head is fully contained within it. To track, click the Track Forward then Reverse button. When done, play through the clip to make sure the pattern boxes stay on their targets. Everything looks good. We'll go over how to fix bad tracks later. Now step 2, connecting the points of the line to the trackers. To connect a point, it first needs to be published. Select the polygon node to reveal the polygon controls in the viewer toolbar. Select one or more points. To select all points, click this button in the toolbar. From the Publish menu, select Publish Points. I like to do 1 point at a time, otherwise it's a bit tricky to figure out which point is which. Not that it matters in this case, since there are only 2 points, but just to illustrate. The published point appears at the bottom of the inspector. If using a paint node, published points appear in the Stroke Control section. To connect the point to a tracker, right-click on it and select Connect To. I'll connect it to Tracker 1 Little Person path, Position. One end of the line is now attached to the person in the background. To attach the other end to the person in the foreground, repeat the same steps. Select the other point. Select Publish Points from the Publish menu. Connect the point to the desired tracker. This time I'll connect it to Tracker 1 Big Person path. There it is, both ends connected. The line will lengthen and shorten and move around, but always remain attached to the targets. Now let's go over the second, more automated way. Here's a motion path created with a paint node. Instead of inserting the paint node into the main line, I've used the background node as a transparent canvas. Setting its alpha parameter to 0 renders it transparent. This setup gives you more options if you decide to make the path visible. You can add a drop, shadow, glow, etc. Whether you created the path with a paint node or polygon node, the steps to connect one or more points to a tracker will be exactly the same. I've placed the points of the path on 5 separate cars. I'd like these points to remain on the cars as they move about. Select the paint node. If the points are not visible, click on the Modifiers tab in the inspector. Then click on the polyline stroke used to create the path. I've carefully positioned each point. This will help position the pattern boxes. You'll see what I mean. First, select the points to publish. To select more than one point, hold down Command, Control and Windows, and click on each point to select. You can also draw a selection rectangle. From the Publish menu, select either Publish to IntelliTrack Tracker or Publish the Point Tracker. I'll select the latter. A new tracker node has appeared in the node editor. This tracker node cannot be inserted downstream of the node used to create the motion path. This feature is designed to be used with masks, so inserting the tracker downstream wouldn't make sense because the mask would be hiding, at least partially, what's to be tracked, which would make tracking impossible. So the tracker node must be connected upstream from the node used to create the motion path. Notice that the pattern boxes have been set up over the cars and 5 point trackers have been created for us. The pattern boxes can be adjusted and even moved to different targets. Click the Track Forward then Reverse button to track. The points of the path are staying fixed on the cars. Very cool. The node used to create the path, whether a paint or polygon node, must remain inserted in the node tree. If removed, the tracking data will not be available and the points will not stay on their targets. If you'd like the path to be invisible, turn down the opacity or level parameters, depending on whether a paint node or polygon node was used. To unpublish one or more points, select them, and from the Publish menu, select Unpublish Points. Let's go over how to fix some tracking issues you're likely to encounter. Here's a clip that illustrates a few. One car doesn't come into the frame until later in the shot, and another car is lost when it drives under the overpass. Let's deal with the car going under the overpass first. I'll suspend the other trackers to prevent them from being tracked again. First, find the frame before the tracker falls off the car. Here, place the playhead back a few frames. Using the bracket keys, move one frame forward at a time until the tracker comes off the car. Right there. Move back one frame to get to the last good frame. All the tracking data after this frame needs to be deleted. Open the Spline editor. Enable the spline for the tracker point and click the Zoom to Fit button. It's easy to see where the track went bad. I'll click the Zoom button and draw a rectangle to outline the zoom area. To zoom in more, press the plus sign key on the keyboard. Everything past the playhead position is bad. I'll select the points and press Delete. There's quite a lot, so I'll do it in steps. Pressing the minus sign key zooms out. Next, find the frame where the car clears the overpass and retrack from there. The gap between that frame and the last good frame will be filled in by the tracker. Use the bracket keys to help you navigate. Place the pattern box over the car and click the Track Forward button. Let's play it. The car is lost again as it leaves the frame. It should look like the car continues to be tracked. Find the frame just before the tracker loses the car. Tracking data beyond this frame needs to be deleted. Back to the Spline editor. Zoom in. Select and delete the bad points to the right of the playhead. The tracking path can be continued by adding points manually, or the Spline editor can be used to do it for us. In some situations, you'll have to do it manually, so I'll show you how to do it that way first. The green line is the tracker path. When I hover the mouse over it, square tracking points appear. Click on one of these to turn the line red. Once the line's red, the polyline tools will appear in the toolbar. Select the Click Append tool. Now, using the bracket key, move ahead one frame. Click the mouse to lay down a tracking point to extend the path. Keep doing this. Move ahead one frame and click the mouse to add a point. When done, click the Modify Only button in the toolbar. Laying down a bunch of points without moving ahead one frame each time will not work. The tracking path is moving through space and time, so it's necessary to move ahead a frame before laying down a point. That's the manual way of doing it. Sometimes you'll have no choice but to do it this way, but for this shot, the Spline editor can finish the job for us. All we have to do is right-click in the Spline editor and select Gradient Extrapolation. That'll continue the spline's trajectory for the duration of the clip. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. Now let's deal with the car that comes into the frame. It should look like the car is being tracked before it enters the frame. I'll enable all the trackers so I can see which point tracker is tracking it, and then suspend the other trackers. This is the opposite of the car leaving the frame, so the process to fix it will be pretty much the same. Find the frame where the tracker first latches onto the car. This time, the tracking data before this frame needs to be deleted. In the Spline editor, enable the spline for this tracker only. Delete all the points to the left of the playhead position. Let's go over the manual method of fixing this first. Click a point on the green tracker path to turn it red and enable the polyline toolbar buttons. This time, instead of moving forward, we have to move backward towards the beginning of the clip. This means we can't use the Click Append tool because it'll extend the end of the path forward in time. We're at the beginning of the path and need to extend it back in time to the beginning of the clip and beyond. Click the Insert and Modify button in the toolbar. Use the bracket key to move back one frame. Grab the tiny green crosshairs and move it to the left to create a new point in the path. Keep doing this until you're done. Move back a frame and move the crosshairs left to create a new point. Luckily, in this case, the Spline editor can do the work for us. Right-click and select Gradient Extrapolation. Let's see how that looks. Fantastic. In this last example, the target remains in the frame, but the tracker is unable to stay latched onto it. First, suspend any other trackers. Find the frame before the tracker loses the target. For this clip, the pattern box and search area can be made smaller to avoid latching onto the other person. Track forward to the end of the clip. Problem solved. In some situations, you may need to manually track forward until the target becomes more clearly defined, and then track from that point. In the worst case, you may need to manually track right to the end. Connecting the points of a line or path to a tracker is not something you would need to do very often, but it's interesting nonetheless. You never know when it may come in handy. Thank you for watching.